For anyone who's watched videos on this channel, you will know I'm an extensive user of the Ionity chargers. There's a good reason for that. They've been a pioneer in establishing a quality, resilient network of 300 kilowatt chargers. And until recently, it would have been pretty hard to travel in some places without using them. Now, there's a second good reason for using them, and it's been their subscription model, which at least until recently has been very competitive if you're a heavy user. In the last few days, however, Ionity has now changed their subscription model. What we're doing here is we're looking at the before and the after and consider whether it's still worthwhile subscribing. So what did we get before? Well, the contract I just renewed in May is super simple. I pay £11.5 per month for 12 months minimum, and I get a flat charging fee of 25 pence per kilowatt hours. Now, the new contract, which is purchased through Hyundai still, is reduced to £6.9 per month, but it only gives you a 15 pence rebate on the ongoing price of charging, and that might vary over time. Today, it's 74 pence, so you're looking at 59 pence per kilowatt hours with a subscription. So you pay less, but you get less rebate. And you'll need to be subscribed at least 3 months. All right, so let's compare now and look at scenarios. Of course, you've got the option to go for the flat price and hope for the best. And that will give you a very simple structure, 74p per kilowatt hours, assuming that the prices won't change. They might go up, they might go down. The old sub was 11.50 and 0.25. So if I'm going to have a minimum of 12 months, I know I'm going to spend a minimum of £138. But as long as I'm doing 20 sessions of 20 kilowatt hours, and 20 kilowatt hours is typically what I'm doing on my small battery EV. Now for you, it might be a lot more, it might be 30, 40, 50, who knows? So you can, of course, do your own maths or use this table as basis. But you can see that very quickly, you're going to be gaining against the flat price. Now, what about the new subscription? If you're going to take it for 12 months, it's actually quite expensive and more expensive than any of the other options you would have had before if you consider that you are a reasonably heavy user. If you're just going to do a few sessions, it doesn't make sense anyway. You don't really want to buy a subscription for 12 months if you're going to be using it just a couple of times because that's going to be more expensive. But of course, one of the things you could be doing is say, well, I'm going to go travel and go on holiday and I'm going to take it for maybe all the summer months. And that's just 3 months then. Now that becomes much more of a tie between the old subscription and the new subscription. Because, of course, it's still a bit more expensive if you're going to need 600 kilowatt hours, 800 kilowatt hours. That's quite a bit more expensive. But actually, if you're kind of a medium user, 400 kilowatt hours, you're there or thereabouts in a similar category, right? So for my own consumption, I know that last year I used the best part of 600 kilowatt hours on Ionity. So I'm kind of here, but I didn't do that over just 3 months. So I'd be looking at kind of selecting those months and in chunks of 3. So that's quite tricky to do. So let's say 8 months of subscription. Well, again, it's very hard for me to see the benefit of the new sub compared to the old sub. Now, it's not like you get to choose. Therefore, as a result, I would say the new sub is kind of interesting if you know you're going to need to do a trip or 2 and you see a bunch of sessions ahead of you and you might be trying to subscribe just to get that little rebate. But otherwise, if you could still be on the old subscription, well, I think it's a bit of a winner, frankly, because it gets you much closer to that 25p on the marginal cost. Every time you use it again, it's going to be 25p. So I think that's where we are here. It's a new subscription, good. yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing. It's good that there is this ability to use it on a lower number of months. There's no question about that. Is it quite as price competitive as the previous one? Well, not quite.